Hi, I'm Haley Hudnall, and I'm the Executive Director at Austin Wildlife Rescue.
And I'm Jules Marin, the Operations Manager at Austin Wildlife Rescue.
Thank you so much for joining us at the brunch. We really appreciate you coming out and seeing what we do. And we have a really cool video for you to watch of a release that we just did. So we have possums, squirrels, raccoons, and skunks that all got released today that have been with us for several months. And it's their time to go back into the wild.
was a great release. I mean, this is what it's all about. This is what we are here to do, is release these animals back into the wild, and today was the perfect day for it. and a whole group of them too. We got a nice mixture of things. You know, we've got a lot of possums that we've had for a few months. Those babies have been ready to go. I know they were super excited to get out there. And a couple of squirrels and even a couple of skunks.
Yes.
Got a couple of those out early,
And
so
no
that was
one,
nice.
No one got sprayed today.
Hey,
It was
that's
a
always
good day.
thing. That's always a good thing. You never know with those guys.
No.
And then the one raccoon, you know, he was an unusual one. He came to us in early January, so we've had that guy for about 7 months. They don't usually come to us until about May, so we've had him for a long time, and so we went ahead and released him, and so that's why we just have the one right now. But we were really excited to get him out. As you saw, he was an enormous guy, so he was definitely ready to go.
Yeah, we wanted him to have some friends, so we were actually holding off a little on releasing him, but raccoons come in normally so late for us. It's May when we get our baby raccoons, and we have hundreds of raccoons right now. That we're raising for release that aren't even close to ready. So he was kind of his own.
Yep.
He was his one-off. He didn't get too many raccoons to hang out with, but he was, as you saw, how big he was.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay.
He was more than ready to go. So it was his time. Same with possums. Hundreds and hundreds of possums coming in, and this was just how many was this today?
Oh gosh, this was 35.
35. This was 35 possums.
Yeah, the tip of the iceberg.
The tip of the iceberg. We've done hundreds and hundreds in the last few weeks alone. They all come in kind of at the same time in early spring, so they're all ready to go within a few weeks of each other. So we get everybody, you know, raised, and they kind of go from tiny incubators to cages to outside cages. Once they're big enough and they're ready, they're climbing, they're eating well.
Possum Palooza.
Possum Palooza. Possums are one of my favorite animals. I feel like they're so misunderstood. There's so many good things about them, and we want them in our yards. We want them in our neighborhoods. You know, they cannot carry rabies. Their body temperature is too low. I think a lot of times people see them and they show their teeth and they drool and they look rabid, of course, but that's just them trying to be scary enough that you go the other direction.
And it works.
And it works a lot of times. I mean, if I saw a possum and didn't know enough about them, I would leave. I would not pick it up. I wouldn't mess with it. It works. They also, you know, they eat bugs, including ticks, ticks that can carry diseases. So a possum can easily eat 4,000 ticks in one summer. So think about these thousands of possums that we are taking in and then we're releasing back into Austin and the surrounding areas, surrounding counties. This is that many less ticks that you could have on you, that your dog or cat could bring in. And so they're so important. They also can eat venomous snakes, any snakes, but also venomous snakes, things that maybe you don't want in your backyard. And they also can eat dead stuff like decaying matter, so they're cleaning up the environment. So skunks get a really bad reputation. People always want to know if we're getting sprayed. And of course, the answer is yes, sometimes we are. That's part of the job.
No, never.
Jules gets sprayed. Just once, right? Only once. I was sprayed in the face and eyes, so that was a whole different story. Most of the time, though, when skunks come in as babies, they can't spray. They're too little. They can't control it. As they get to be juveniles, they do a little pounce. They stomp with their front feet, and that tells us that if we keep coming at them, they're going to spray. And they get used to us enough, I think, and we get used to them enough that we know when to kind of back off or when to keep coming. On release days, we have to keep coming because we have to catch them for release. So that's when there is a chance that we're going to get sprayed. If we get a juvenile and it's a little bit older, they're not as used to us. You know, we might get sprayed. It happens. I think most of the time a bath or 2 or 3.
Immediately.
We'll get the skunk smell off, but most of the time the whole entire rehab center smells like skunk and everyone walks out and goes home smelling just a little like skunk.
But they're so great. I mean, they're so beneficial for the environment and everything. So, you know, once they're out there and even during the releases and stuff, they usually give you plenty of warning. It's not like you just come up on a skunk and you get it full in the face, usually. But, you know, most of the time they're going to give you plenty of warning with that little, you know, don't you do it sort of pounce that they do. So, you know, that's nature's way, thankfully, of, you know, giving other animals as well as people a bit of warning before you go up to them. So, you know, we're thankful for that at least.
And, you know, they have a limited supply of what they can spray. They can only spray 6 or 7 times before they run out. So they really don't want to spray you or spray an animal unless they really have to. They're saving that for kind of last minute. So that's why we know they're not going to spray us most of the time.
And they're super cute when they're babies, like when they're learning to spray. And they can't quite spray. It's more of a poof that starts happening. And they look surprised half the time when it happens. It's like poof, and they're like, whoa, what just happened back there? And it's so funny the way they just sort of learn it.
Well, and even their pounce, when they kind of fall over. Sometimes when they're learning to pounce at you, and then they get a little too excited and they flip over on a handstand, or they fall over. So they have to learn even these little things that we just assume they already know. But we love skunks too. I mean, they eat a lot of bugs. They have serious claws, so they're digging all the time. I don't think we caught one on this release, but a lot of times they'll walk right out of the crate and they'll just start digging, and they'll find some kind of a bug or a grub and they'll start eating it. So
yeah, and this was just such a great release site here in Bastrop County on
yes.
Over 300 acres that we were able to put them out to, that actually backs up to 2,000 acres of conservation territory. So, you know, one of the most perfect release sites you can get. It doesn't get better than that.
For sure. And then that perfect creek that was running through it that you saw, we couldn't ask for anything better. It wasn't too deep, but they could go in, they could walk around, they could get a drink, and then apparently that connects to 3 other creeks along the way. So we're able to release this many animals in one place because we know they have so much room to spread out. You know, donations are the most important thing for us. We are a nonprofit. We don't get any city, county, state, federal funding. I know a lot of people think that we get some kind of funding like that because we help animal control out a lot. They bring a lot of animals to us. It's a good partnership. They're helping us out as well by bringing the animals to us, but we don't have any funding from the city. So every single dollar that comes in is important to us because that's how we pay our staff to care for all these animals. It's how we provide the right food and the right medication and the right care to get all of these animals back into the wild today, like you just saw. So your donation today, your donation anytime is just so important to us, and it really does go, every dollar goes a long way. We do everything that we can to make sure that these animals get the best care they can, but on a tight budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.